Welcome back, or welcome to the channel. If it's your first time tuning in, it's nice to have you along for the ride. So today I'm out on this, the new for BMW, the RT1300, and what a beast it is. This is the first time I've actually rode an RT, so I've got nothing to compare it against with the outgoing 1250 model. So yeah, apologies for that one. I've just literally stepped off of test riding the R12 GS, and you can't get much difference in bikes than getting off that and getting on this. The R12, as you will see on the video, which will be posted before this one, is a nice agile flickable sort of off-road biased version of a GS, if you like. Not a lot of tech on there. It's got enough tech on there, but not a lot. Whereas this is laden with tech, and it's a completely different thing. The first thing I notice about this obviously is the riding position. It's very, very comfortable. It's got a nice big comfy seat. You're bolt upright. I look like a police outrider riding one of these. So you're nice and bolt upright, so the position is very, very comfortable. Bear in mind this is a sports tourer, so I don't know whether that's anything to do with it, but my knees are quite tucked. I am 6'1", I've got long limbs. The weight of this bike, you can feel the weight. I don't think it will be the most flickable thing around the twisters, but having said that, this is like the police bike, the police biker's bike of choice, so that has to say something about it, because I'm assuming when the police look at buying a motorcycle, they're looking at, okay, we need it to be pretty fast, we need it to be pretty flickable, it needs to handle, because we've got to chase baddies. So but it also means we're riding it in all weathers, we're riding it all day long, blah blah blah. So it's got to be a compromise between comfort, handling and speed, I would imagine. The power on this thing's pretty good as well. I'll go through the specs when I stop somewhere. Here she is in all her glory, the triple black version, the R1300. In my humble opinion, it looks nicer, it looks more sportier, a bit more up for it than the 1250, I think. Again, subjective, but anyway, beans I can't remember, I mean, do you expect me to remember all of that? So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to briefly run through the spec sheet on this, just to give you a rough idea. So the key specifications are, the engine's a 1300, as we all know, with the ShiftCam technology, putting out a peak power of 145 horsepower at 7,750 revs. The torque is 149 Newton meters. 6-speed. It's the transmission is a 6-speed. It's got Shift Assist Pro, which is the quick shifter up and down. Riding modes include Rain, Road, Eco, Dynamic, plus there's other ones that you can put with the optional extras. The chassis is a sheet metal frame with integrated subframe. Front suspensions, as I already outlined earlier on the video, is a teller lever, so I'm used to all that. Rear suspension is the power lever, and it's semi-active. Suspension travel, the front is 120mm and the rear is 136. The front brakes are a dual 320mm disc with 4 piston pot calipers. They are branded BMW, these ones. If you look on the other side, there's a little Brembo badge on the other side, so they're made by Brembo, whether you think that's good or bad. But Brembo obviously make good brakes. ABS, it's got cornering ABS as well. 17-inch cast alloy wheels front and rear, and the seat height is 805mm to 825mm, so there is an up and down settings on that, so it is a slightly adjustability on that. The wet weight approximately is 279 kilos, which, to be fair, when you're on it you kind of notice that. Fuel capacity is 25 litres. The windscreen, as you've already seen, is electric. I must admit, that is epic. Going through slow, especially in this weather when it's hot. I was going through like a slow road and I thought, oh, I've got adjustable windscreen, so I just flicked it down, and you think, oh, someone's turned the aircon on. And then when you get on the busier roads, just flick the switch and it comes up and you're in a bubble of calm. So I must admit that is really good. LED lights, full LED with optional adaptive corner light, so again that's an optional thing you can get on it. It's got radar cruise control, as I've already outlined, with the blind spot mirror indicators there. That comes as an optional extra. It's got hill start as standard, the keyless ride as standard, the comfort and touring equipment, heated grips and seat as standard, audio system with integrated speakers. If you don't get these, you get those sort of like covers, so it's kind of like to remind you that you haven't spec'd that, but that's optional extra as well. Luggage as well, blah blah blah, that's optional extra. And then you've got other optional packs that you can get as well. So there's a comfort pack, a dynamic pack, a touring, audio, as we've already outlined, and then there's the optional 719 custom trims that go on there. So if you used to tick everything, I think I said this earlier, then that thing becomes nearly 30 grand. So beware ticking boxes, it's a very expensive pastime. But yeah, for what it is, it's an epic bit of kit, and I kind of love it for what it is. But what I plan on doing on this one is I was just going to ride along here, which is a dual carriageway, if you had noticed, the A45 just outside of Northampton, and I'm going to pick up the M1 at junction 15, and then I'm going to go along a couple of junctions to 16. There's a 15 now, that's why I said a couple. 15 to 16 is only one, you idiot. That wasn't a deliberate mistake. The screen on this is really big. The wind buffering's pretty much non-existent. I've got a little bit at 57 miles an hour on my shoulders. My helmet is not as noisy as normal because the screen obviously deflected a lot of it. One thing I would say about this screen, besides its immense size, is that the top of the screen there is pretty much in my eye line. Hang on. It's full. This is electric screen on this one as well, so that's as high as it goes by the looks of it. If I lower it down, right now I've got a face full of wind. My face full of wind up into where my collarbones are, pretty much, is at a wind blast now, which is kind of nice because it's 23 degrees according to the dash, and it feels like at least 28 to be honest with my riding kit on. So I put the screen up a little bit. So that's the downside of the screen, I suppose, the top of it. But there's always going to be a top of the screen, and it depends where you sit, whether the top of the screen's in your eye line. You get a lot of tech as standard on this thing, and then you can also spec it up. Make sure you're sitting down when you spec it up. One of the sales reps, David from Wollaston BMW. So again, big shout out to Wollaston BMW at Northampton on the Bedford Road for lending me this bike. He did tell me that, because I said to him about the prices, and I think he said it started sort of like 24 something or other. I'll put a little thing on the video because I can't remember the exact prices. So we'll go with this. It starts at 24 something, and he said by the time you spec it with literally everything that's available on the specometer tick sheet on the website, it goes to about 30 grand. Yeah, 30 grand. A lot of it you don't need, but some things you do need. This particular one that I'm on now, it's got heated grips as standard, heated seat as standard, which I'll cover in more detail in a minute. It hasn't got the heated grab rail. There's a heated grab rail option for your pillion to have warm hands. It's not fitted on this one, but safe to say that they're there if you want it. Now this holds the rope beautifully. Again, I'm not going mad, it's not my bike and I'm not a massively capable rider. So this is effortless. It's doing, okay, if I do 70 miles an hour, it's doing 3,500 revs. I mean, this feels like an absolute, it doesn't even feel like a slight jog for this bike. It feels like not even a brisk walk. This is like a leisurely walk. I mean, come on mate, you're slowing down. I think that thing should have cruise control, shouldn't it? I'm going to get moaned at for me lane discipline in a minute. This particular one's got the radar cruise control, and what comes with that package is the little warning triangle on the mirrors. So when a car goes in your blind spot, the little triangle comes on to say there is something in your blind spot. I was waiting for that red car behind me to catch up to demonstrate, but he's not catching up. But it's there anyway. The TFT screen, it's huge. Look at the size of that. You can have it in split screen, so you can have half of it for sat nav or whatever else you want on it, music and telephone or whatever you want, and then the other half will be kind of condensed version of what's on there, or you can have it the full thing like that. I'm not going to faff around with that, to be honest, because to get the music on, which you can play through them speakers on the front if you want to annoy everybody, put some death metal on and go around like, yeah, look at him with his death metal on his RT. I'm not going to do that because I've got to connect my phone to the bike, and that would mean much fafferage for me, and swearing, because I can't do it in 2 minutes. I'll leave it in six gear and just roll it on. There's plenty of power in this thing. I wouldn't say it's overly fast or anything. I think it's about 145 horsepower. Right, okie dokie, back into the hard shoulder. I don't like riding on this hard shoulder. Smart motorway for not really smart drivers is not a good combination. Anyway, this is effortless to ride along here. I can literally ride this without stopping, only for fuel, for hours and hours, and it is literally effortless. Right, that's that bit done. Motorway ticked off, and I can say it was an obvious thing to say anyway, but its road manners are pretty much impeccable on the motorway. The blipper is consider this a boxer engine, because if you've never rode a boxer engine bike before, then they are a little bit tractory, a little bit agricultural, I would imagine, is a kind of a good way of describing it. And that translates to the quick shift as well, which is slightly clunky, whereas if you're on a 4-cylinder bike they seem a lot smoother. But this third, fourth, third, second, oh, a little bit of a jolt then. That was me, rider error then. But yeah, this is this quick shifter is silky smooth both up and down. I think I'd have to get used to one of these. Again, like I said a second ago, the police ride these, and if you've ever seen police riders, they're not exactly slow. They sit bolt upright as well. I'm not really sure about that one. But yeah, these police motorcyclists pretty rapid. So they're pretty rapid on one of these, or the 1250 version of one of these. I'm assuming they will probably upgrade to 1300 at some point in the near future. Now this ride's a little bit more bumpy. I'm in dynamic mode. There's obviously different modes as well. The dynamic damping on this is very nice. It's soaking up these bumpy back roads really nice. I'm going quite slow, I know, but you know, the hyper view on the GoPro will make me seem quicker than I am. Little river bridge coming here, and me, oh, ouch. This seat is very nice. I know I've mentioned the seat already, but it is very comfortable. Right, where am I going to go? This is the village of Nether Hayford. I used to spend a lot of time here because I used to work in Nether Hayford. In fact, I'm going to go past the warehouse. So I'm indulging myself, going on a little ride through memory lane, back through memory lane. Every time I come here they change the layout of the roads a little bit. There's a giveaway bit here. This used to be a T-junction here, and now it's a right turn. Oh, there's a Fate looking thing there. Oh, look at them, there's a load of old cars and stuff there. Ah, look, Village Fate. So if you're watching this from America, do you have such things as Village Fates? I mean, this harks back to when I was a child. People with little tents selling various things. Now this is the T-junction here, and now it's a bend in the road now. Furnace Lane, Nether Hayford. I love the Village Fate. It's proper quintessential English. Thank you, sir. So low speed in first gear. completely stable. This thing has got a telelever front end, so it's pretty similar to the GS. So first to second, using the quick shifter there was sublime. Silky smooth, not a murmur of a jolt. Cheers, pal, thank you. Whereas if I was on my GS, I would have had to have clutched that one first to second at this speed, because it would be a bit jolty. It's kind of slower steering than again what I'm used to. I know I'm comparing Grand Union Canal left and right. Beautiful. I know I'm comparing apples and oranges when I say that, but I'm just basically saying what I feel when I'm on the bike. So it's a lot more slower, not wallowy as such, but it takes a little bit more. It's just everything's in kind of slower motion than what I'm used to. So again, it's whoops, that wasn't a very good gear change. So on the right is the warehouse where I used to work. Oh, there's a man standing there, look. Oh, look at that. Is it closed down? Looks like they're closed down. Anyway, through the trees. These trees have got bigger. But when you want it shifts along nicely. I'm going to leave it in dynamic mode, which will be slightly harder suspension, but to be honest, that, as I mentioned back there, and I'm still mentioning it, the suspension is pretty damn nice. Right, let's go on the A5, heading towards Milton Keynes way on the A5. Oh, lovely. I suppose on the downside, because I've been talking it up saying, oh, this is wonderful, everything's great, and for this bike everything is great apart from the price. But I mean, you know, here's what it is. If you want a Rolex, you ain't getting it for a tenner, mate, unless you go to Thailand. They do look quite good, them fake Rolexes. Anyway, the negatives, it's got this stigma to it, the RT, as being, I mean, I think 44 Chief said it about the older one. It's like a boring old man's bike. It's soulless, boring. It's soulless and boring, and yet it does everything that it's designed for perfectly. But it just lacks that certain, I don't know, and nobody nods at you because I think you're an old man biker. It just lacks that bit of, I don't know, it's soul, or what you'd want to call it. I got off that last one, the R12, and I thought, I really enjoyed that. As I'm enjoying this, it's a different experience of enjoyment, but nevertheless, it is an enjoyable experience. But when I got off the R12 GS, I sort of looked around at it and I thought, yeah, that's really cool, that bike. I really liked it. Does it ride as nice as this one? No. I mean, it's a different thing, as we've already outlined. But there's just something that clicks within your passion for motorbikes, that when you look at the bike and you think, yeah, look at it, that looks epic. And almost everything else sort of like is secondary. But whereas when you boil it down, no, it's definitely not speed camera around in the hedge. When you boil it down, this is a far superior bike for doing a different job to the other bike. So what job would this be up for? What is its main purpose? What is the RT1300's main purpose, apart from police riders? Well, it's a sports tourer, as we've already outlined about a million times. So I think if you've got the money and you're in the market for a sports tourer, if you're the sort of rider that likes doing miles, you want to munch miles effortlessly, you go on a lot of tours, you know, 1 minute you're in the Alps, the next thing you're in the south of France, and the next thing you're in Scotland. If you're that type of rider and you're looking for like, look, I want the ultimate bike, alright, you could argue this fact, oh, get a Goldwing. Yeah, I mean, a Goldwing's fantastic as well, don't let it, I'm sidetracking. If you want the ultimate BMW Tourer, and you don't want the case, there's a K1600 as well. So why would you, that'd be a good video as well. Ride one of these R12 1300 and then get on the K1600, which again is a touring bike. Which one is better? I don't know the answer to that. That might be something to do in the future if I can get my hands on a 1600 on the same day as this. But forget the 1600 out of the BMW range, and let's just say, for the sake of what I'm trying to spit out, that this is the ultimate tourer. That concludes my brief look at the RT 1300. So if you got to the end, then I appreciate you watching, and until next time, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between, I'll bid you farewell. Bye for now.